awareness as to how project can help organization achieve their strategic objective. All right. Is a webinar that we are not going to take too much of your time. We are going to, you know, treat the topic as it affects us as individual and also as it affects our business. To do justice to the this topic today is a renowned project management consultant with over 20 years strategic management consulting. He's well versed in the teaching of project management, business analysis, and some other strategic management program. He was once the president of the Project Management Institute Nigeria chapter, and also the MD CEO Dexnova Consulting Limited. He is no other person than Mr. Adewale Oriade. He will be taking us through this very special topic that is very important to how organization treats projects and how projects can determine the success and failure of an organization. At this point, I want to encourage us to stay focused for this few period that we'll be here together. While you are learning, we also want you to, take notes and also jot down some specific information that you will be getting today. It can help you as an individual and also help you to do your work better as an individual and also help you to do your work. At this point, I also want to invite, at this point, I Mr. Adewale invite to take over the baton and speak to us today concerning the subject matter. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Pius. Can you hear my voice? Please confirm yes, you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you very clearly.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
And you can see my screen as well.
Yes, we can.
Okay, beautiful. So good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, depending on which part of the world you're joining us from. As I've been introduced, my name is Adewale Oriade. I'm the CEO of Dexnova Consulting, and I will be taking this webinar. I'm a certified project management professional, as well as certified business analysis professional. I've had the privilege of teaching project management and business analysis for several years. And I've also had an opportunity of helping an organizations to deliver their projects in alignment with their strategic goals. So today we're going to be looking at a very, very important topic, which is tied to aligning projects with the organization's strategic objectives using business analysis tools. Okay, and I'm going to try as much as possible to do justice to the topics, and I want active participations of everyone present, either in contributing at the end of my presentations or asking questions. So this is the way it's going to go. If you have any question to ask at the end, I'm going to give about 15 minutes at the end of my presentations for you to ask whatever questions you want to ask. If there are two ways you can ask the question, you probably raise up your hand if you know how to use the Zoom tool of signifying you can raise up your hand and you will be recognized to speak, or you can type in your questions using the chat medium. You can type in your question using the chat medium. Okay. Um, so you're welcome to this very important webinar. We have quite a number of people who have registered for this webinar, but I'm seeing about a few of them right now, a few of you right now. So hopefully the rest will join us along the line, or perhaps they will just watch us online, because we're also streaming this webinar live as well. Okay, so let us start the webinar properly. Okay. I don't know about you or where you work, or maybe as an individual, how you have intended, how you've embarked on a project, and somehow you even were able to complete these projects on time. You completed the project within the budget, and but at the end of the day, you find out that the project is useless. It did not serve the purpose for which it was intended. It's been happening with so many organizations and individuals. Uh, from my screen, you can see many organizations and individuals have thrown away good money and wasted efforts on failed projects. As a matter of fact, in 2018 Pulse of the Profession, a global survey conducted by Project Management Institute, it reveals that around $1 million is wasted every 20 seconds, collectively by organizations worldwide, due to ineffective implementations of business strategy through poor management practices. This amount is equivalent to roughly to $2 trillion wasted a year. I'm sure if you get a fraction of that money, you can imagine what you're going to do with it. But that is the reality. About $2 trillion are wasted yearly on projects that failed to deliver on the goal of the organizations. I'm going to give you a few examples of failed projects, very few, maybe about 3 of them. There are countless of them. And it is not just now that you begin to see projects about $8 trillion has been happening with yearly on projects that failed in the old development of the goal of the organization. I don't know if any of you, I'm going to give you a few examples of first projects recorded about 3 of them. So far, there are countless of them. And the Tower of Babel, not just now, some of you must have you begin to about projects about $8 trillion. So maybe we said you attend on my project era in the old development. The Babylonians wanted to manipulate themselves. I'm going to give you examples of mighty cities projects about 3 of them. So far, we are in the heaven. And the Tower of Babel, not just now on the ground, to begin to about now. Projects about instructed the world as maybe we understand one another. Now the city, that is the Tower of Babel, was never completed, and the people were dispersed over the face of the earth. As a matter of fact, God testified that this project was progressing well. It was doing well on schedule, it was doing well on budgets, and it was actually doing well on scope, the 3 most important constraints of projects. So God knew that if he actually leave these people to it, they probably would have succeeded in building this Tower of Babel. That is why he had to confuse their language. But the bottom line is that the project was never completed. And you can imagine how much money they would have spent, how much effort they would have wasted on this project before they were dispersed. That is the first failed project. Okay? As we go along in this webinar, you will understand the reason why they failed. I'm very sure it's not because they don't have the money or they don't know what to do or the project was being delayed, but it failed anyway. The second project that I will talk about is the World Athletics Champion in 2019. The World Athletics Champion in 2019. In 2019, the best world athletes made their way to Doha, that's in Qatar, to compete in the World Athletics Championships. Unfortunately, the host nation was unable to sell the majority of the tickets, so athletes were forced to compete in nearly empty stadiums. I am very sure they had this project. It was not that the event did not take place. The event took place, so you can say that the project was quite delivered. But unfortunately, the stadium was nearly empty. And with that, I'm very sure that the organizer of the event will not be able to achieve whatever their strategic objective is. That is another failed project. Okay, and the next one I'm going to talk about is Meta's Metaverse. This is very recent. I'm sure most of you know that the Meta's is a new name. I mean, Meta's is a new name for Facebook, okay? And they had a project called Metaverse. The project by Metaverse seems focused on developing their own crypto tokens and native coins, its own crypto trading exchanges, as well as its own blockchain. That is what Facebook, now known as Meta, wanted to achieve. In fact, Meta's head of global affairs claims Metaverse is the future during a press conference. But unfortunately, despite spending over $24 billion on Metaverse, in a Twitter thread posted on March 13, 2023, Stephanie Casre, Meta's head of commerce and financial technology, revealed that the company is winding down on Metaverse and focusing on other ways to support its creators. In its pursuit, the company shifted its focus from the Metaverse to artificial intelligence. The pivot led to Meta laying off thousands of its employees. I'm sure you've heard of that or you've read of that of recent, shuttering many projects, including Instagram and Facebook's NFT. Okay, so you can imagine having spent about $24 billion on a project, $24 billion on a project, and eventually had to abandon it. Not only abandoning it, as a result of that, several of their staff were laid off. This is a serious issue, really, it's a serious issue. So in this webinar, we're going to, even though we're not going to provide solutions within the time that we have, the reason why this project failed, or what could be done to ensure that your project actually deliver on its objective within the time frame that we have. But we're going to do justice to it to ensure that at least you have a bit of knowledge, skills, to be able to help your organization to deliver on their project, or even to be able to help yourself to deliver on your personal project. So in this webinar, we will look at how to understand enterprise problems and goals. How to understand enterprise problems and goals. How to analyze needs and come up with a solution to meet that needs in your organization. Then how to devise strategies to ensure that solutions are implemented, how to drive change in your organization, and how to even though our focus is on organizations, but I can tell you that there are a lot of the things that you're going to learn that you can apply to yourself. For example, I've seen quite a number of people coming to me personally or to our organization, wanting to do one program or the other. The first thing I ask them is, why do you want to do this program? And many of them could not even give any good reason beyond the fact that, oh, everybody is doing it now. Even some that said, okay, I want to do this program because I'm looking at changing my career, or I'm looking at getting promotion in my office. By the time we sit down and analyze it together, we discover that that is not the projects or the programs they actually need to achieve whatever they want to achieve. Or in addition to those programs they had in mind, there are some other things they need to do, okay? What we are basically doing is trying to align whatever programs they want to embark on with their future career, okay? So it's applicable to individuals as well. Even right now, we are in Japa season when everybody is leaving the country. And if you ask people, why do you want to leave the country? They will tell you things are bad. Well, things are bad. Might be enough reason for you, but that doesn't mean that if you leave, things are going to be better where you are going, especially if certain things were not put in place, okay? I mean, a lizard in Nigeria will not change to alligator when it gets to UK, US, or Canada. It will still remain a lizard. We're not saying that Japan, it's not good, but there are certain things you may need to do in order to achieve the aim for which you want to Japan, okay? And that is even if you have an aim, not just because the country is bad, you can't get a job, or whatever the case may be. There are quite a number of people who have Japan and are stranded wherever they are. And there are quite a number of people too who have Japan and are doing so well. In fact, they loved better than they were doing in Nigeria, because they've been able to embark on initiatives that aligns with their goal wherever they are going to. So we're going to be looking at all of this together. Okay, so let's first start with definitions of project, because we're talking about how to align your projects with your individual or organization strategic objectives. So we need to have an understanding of what project is, okay? If I have students of project management here and I ask you to define project, I'm sure many of you will give the definition that you have probably read in the academic textbooks or in the project management body of knowledge by PMI, okay? And it might not make much meaning to you, I mean, because your definition might just border on project is an activity to be delivered to solve certain constraints or whatever. Okay, so, but let me open your eyes to a definition of a project. If you have not looked at projects in that light before, okay? Projects, as I would like to define it, are the means by which we introduce change. Projects are the means by which we introduce change, okay? Whether as an individual or as an organization, projects are the means by which you introduce change. Change means you want to move from point A to point B, okay? Your point A could be the job that you are doing right now as an individual to a better job. Or the point B could be where you are in your organization now to the next level up, okay? And for you to get from point A to point B, you might need to embark on some sort of projects, okay? Even as an organization, if you're looking at increasing your company profitability or reducing waste in your organization, or you want to embark on a new business, okay, you will need to execute projects. And that is why I tell people, irrespective of where you work, the organization where you work, some people might say, my organizations, we don't do project that much because we're not a project-based organization. We're not into construction, we're not into engineering, we're not into this or that, so we are not into projects. And as a result of that, they see it pretty easy. But I tell people that even if your organization is not a project-based organization, like Julius Berger, like any of the oil companies, okay, if your organization is not thinking of projects, internal projects, is an organization that is about to die, because we live in a very dynamic business world today. Things are changing rapidly, and if you are not innovative as an organization, competitors will knock you out. So even as an organization, you have to be strategic in your growth, in your approach. You have to be thinking, now that we are here as an organization, what is the next stage for us? And of course, for you to get to that stage, you have to embark on some sort of project. So, like I said, projects are the means by which we introduce change. Another definition that I'm going to also mention is that projects are the means through which we provide solutions to problems. What problems is your organization facing today? To be able to solve that problem, they will have to embark on some sort of projects. So take note of that. Projects are the means through which we introduce change, and projects are the means through which we provide solutions to problems. Okay. So if that be the case, it can be very easy then for you to define what a project failure is. Okay. Because if you ask quite a number of people what they understand by project failure, some will say, when I don't have enough money to complete the project, so I abandon it. When I don't finish my project on time, yes. Or when I finish my project well above budget, yes. But that is not all. As a matter of fact, you can complete the scopes of your projects. Everything is completed according to the design that you had in mind. Every details of the project is done, and you completed it on time, and you also completed it on budget. But at the end of the day, you find out that the project is not serving the intended purpose. So would you call that kind of project a success? No, it's not a success. So far that your project does not meet the purpose for which it is intended, even though it is completed on time and on budget and at the agreed scope. Okay. So that's why I will say that when project does not serve the purpose for which it was intended, then that project has failed. Either it failed to achieve the desired change in the organization, or to solve the problem for which it was initiated. Even in your personal life, if you embark on, perhaps you said, okay, I want to have a master's degree, or I want to have a professional certification, okay, or I want to go for a particular training, and you successfully completed that program, but then the promotion did not come, or you are not able to change your job as you thought you would if you had completed the program, then that particular project or program is a failure, okay, because it has failed to achieve the purpose for which it was intended. Okay, so project fails when it fails to achieve the purpose for which it was intended for an organization. It means that it did not achieve the desired change in the organization, or it could not solve the problem for which it was intended. For your project to succeed or to be regarded as successful, there has to be a proper alignment between that project and your organization goal. There have to be what? A proper alignment between that project and your organizational goals. If they don't align very well, you may not be able to succeed, or that project may not be able to succeed. I am very sure quite a number of you, if you are experienced in working in your organizations, you probably have taken to your management some initiatives you think will help your organization to grow, either to increase the profitability or to make them bigger. And as you are taking this project to the management, someone in the management or the entire management is shutting it down. We're not interested. We're not interested. We're not interested. It's not because your initiatives might not be good enough. It could be because the management could not see the alignment between that your suggested project and the goal that they are set to achieve in the organization. And that is why they don't. Because in every organization, resources are limited, okay? No organizations have boundless resources. Resources are very limited. And so if they need to embark on any initiative, strategic initiatives, they will have to ensure that those initiatives move them towards the goal that they have set. And this is where the business analyst comes in an organization. It's the reason why today you find out that business analysis as a program is becoming popular. Agile methodology of managing projects is becoming so popular, okay? Because a lot of organizations have thrown away good money on bad projects, okay? Now, what does business analysis do? Business analysis enables an enterprise to articulate needs and the rationale for change, and to design and describe solutions that can deliver value to stakeholders. Now, I'm going to expatiate on that a little. Business analysis enables an enterprise or organization to articulate needs and the rationale for change, and to design and describe solutions that can deliver value to stakeholders. Now, what are needs. Needs in any organizations could be problems or opportunities. Problems or opportunities. Okay. Problems or opportunities. So when you're talking about needs, even in your own personal life, your needs could be a problem that you want to solve or an opportunity that you want to take advantage of. Let me, for the purpose of emphasis and understanding, let me just restrict my definition to organization or to an enterprise. Okay. Now, business analysis enables an enterprise to define the problems they are facing as an organization, or to explore opportunities that surrounds them. And once they've been able to do this, they can then come up with a rationale, reason for a change. For example, you find out that over the last 5 years, as an organization, your revenue keeps dwindling. That's a problem, okay? But without proper business analysis too, you will not know the root cause of that problem, okay? Even though your revenue is dwindling, that's a symptom of a bigger problem, okay? The problem could be you are losing money somewhere, maybe in your processes, there are wastages, or competitors are jumping into the business and they are taking part of your business away from you, okay? Or it could be the rising cost of your raw materials, okay? And so you're not making as much money as you were making before. With business analysis case, you will be able to get to the root cause of the problems, okay? And then, in order to solve that problem, you probably want to come up with some projects. Oh, let us expand our production capability, or let us, which could be called projects, or let us employ more people into the organization, or let us do a little bit more of advertisement campaign, you know. These are various projects, okay? But your project has to go to the root of the problem. Until you know what the problem is, you may not know the right solution or the right projects to embark on. For example, if competitors are jumping into your business and taking part of your business away from you, is the cause of your dwindling revenue and you are employing more people, or you are even increasing your production capability where there are no needs. I mean, the needs in your industry is being met by several organizations, okay? You find out that your production capability increase project may succeed, or you may succeed in attracting the right people to your organization, but the problem still persists, okay? It could be an opportunity. Federal government now says, in this industry, we want to ensure that the local companies are given the opportunity to play. We want to chase away some foreign companies. And as a result of that, these are opportunities for you, you know, to take advantage of, to improve your business. So what do? You probably embark on projects. It could be increasing your production capability. It could be register with some regulatory agency. It could be sending your staff on training so that they'll be able to provide, they will have the skill to deliver on that specific businesses. Are we together? So these are the needs. So business analysis helps you to articulate this need. Means that to go to the roots of the problem or to properly analyze the opportunity, then come up with a reason for change. Then to now come up with solutions that will deliver value to stakeholders. Are we together? For example, the Tower of Babel failed because some stakeholders, especially God, did not see any value there. He probably was not carried along. It's not what he wanted. And as a major stakeholder, he had to come down and frustrate that project. Okay, so have it at the back of your mind that it's very important that whatever initiatives you are embarking on, even if it aligns with your organization goal, it must deliver value to some very important stakeholders in your organization. If I attended a project management training or business analysis training, you would have understood who are stakeholders, how to identify them, and how to engage them throughout your project life cycle. It's not what we can discuss in this 1.5 to 2 hours webinar. So what's the role of a business analyst in aligning projects with organization goal? A business analyst helps the organization to define goals and decomposes these goals into specific objectives. It helps to define organizational goals. You see how it does that, and decomposes this goal into specific objectives. It also helps to define and validate solutions to meet the business needs. That's the problem, to solve the problem, or to effect a change by taking advantage of the opportunity, goals or objectives. It's also used in eliciting, analyzing, and prioritizing requirements. Okay, requirements are everything you need to know or to have to be able to deliver your project. So a business analyst helps you to elicit, to analyze, to prioritize, and to document these requirements from all the identified stakeholders. Because it is very important that the actual needs of the stakeholder is identified rather than their expressed needs. Let me give you an instance. You may be having an headache and you go to a doctor and you say, please give me an analgesic, give me paracetamol. Or you're running temperature, you're having fever, and you go to a doctor, oh, I have malaria, please give me medicine. That is your express needs or desire. But it will take doctor examining you and conducting a test on you to be able to determine your actual needs. Your actual needs may be being treated for typhoid, or there's an infection in your body, which is giving those symptoms that you think can be treated with malaria drugs or analgesic. So BA helps to analyze, prioritize, and document this requirement. They also helps to recommend projects or course of action, that's activities, to implement the identified requirement, business need, goals, and objectives. And of course, they serve as a liaisons among all the stakeholders, liaisons as a communication hub between all stakeholders group. Okay. So what does a business analyst do? To continue, the role of a business analyst may be performed in the 3 levels of management in an organization. There are 3 levels of management in an organization. You have the strategic level, you have the tactical level, and you have the operational level. Okay. This is why, as a business analyst, you can work in any department or at any level in an organization as compared to a project manager. A project manager may just be restricted to working on projects. And once the projects is completed, is either moved to another project or is disengaged from the organization. Okay, but as a business analyst, you can work at project level, you can work at tactical level, which is middle management, you can work as, for example, someone, perhaps maybe you call him a chief strategy officer, or it's a BA at strategic level. Okay, so a business analyst can work at any of this level in an organization. Okay, so this is an example of strategy management pyramid in an organization. At strategic level, what do you do there? You help define the organization strategic goals. That is 5 years plus objectives. Where do we want to be in the next 5 years as an organization? We want to increase our profitability by 50%. We want to increase our spread along the geopolitical region in Nigeria in 5 years. Or we want to ensure that in Nigeria, we have 24 hours electricity within 5 years. Okay, this is the strategic goal, is what gives you the ultimate fulfillment. And as an individual, your strategic goal could be like, in 5 years time, or in 10 years time, or in 15 years time, I want to be at C-level in my organization, chief marketing officer or chief operating officer or chief financial officer. Or it could be that you even want to start your own company in 5 years time. That is, you need a BA to be able to help you to identify the needs for your goal, which could be the problem you are facing right now, why you want to move to that level, or the opportunities that are banned. And that's why you find that when people want to go into business, the first thing I ask them, why do you want to also go into this particular business? It is my passion. I have passion for this. Yes, why your passion is very important in whatever you're doing, but your passion may not be enough to make that business profitable. There has to be what? A need. Either that is not met at all, or being partially met, or it can be met better. So when you have defined your goal, the end result, okay, then you cascade it down to the tactical level, the middle management level in an organization. Maybe all the C-levels officer, chief executive officer, chief marketing officer, chief financial officer, chief strategy officer, chief whatever officer. I've said this is where we want to be as an organization in 5 years or in 10 years time. Then the mid or the middle level management will now start brainstorming, and with the help of business analysis tools, break that goal into smaller specific objectives. For example, a telecom's just coming out right now and say, in about 10 or 15 years time, we want to be big as MTN. We want to be as big as MTN. Okay. Then the tactical manager will now start looking at what are the metrics that can be measured about MTN right now that we can aspire to get to. Maybe in terms of infrastructures, in terms of the staff, in terms of the capital that is needed, okay, in terms of the geographical spread. So the tactical or the middle management level will start breaking this down. Okay, we need to have this type of infrastructures within 2 or 3 years. We need to have this certain number of staff with these keys. Okay, we need to be able to raise this fund within this period of time. Are we together? Now, there could be a lot of short-term objective defined at the tactical level. And of course, because the management do not have all the resources that is needed to achieve this, they start doing prioritization, seeing the alignment of some of these suggested initiatives to where they are going. Okay? And some they will embrace, some they will discard because it has to align. I'm going to show you how to align some of these projects to your goal, to your strategic objectives. Now, once some of these short-term objectives has been accepted, then is cascaded down to the operational level, who then implements these short-term objectives as projects. Okay, this is where the project manager just come in. You can see at operational level. And even at operational level, the BAC comes in here to help validate the project implementation. You want to ensure that the project teams are implementing the project in such a way that the objectives will be achieved. So that's what a BA does there. It keeps looking at the environment, looking at the context in which the project was conceptualized. If the context is still the same or it has changed, okay, to ensure that the project is not delivered, and to ensure that the project is delivered and meets the goal or the purpose for which it was intended. Okay, that is the strategy pyramid. I don't know where you belong to in your organization right now, if you're at the strategic level or tactical level or operational level. But at strategic level, you help it define the organization's strategic goal. Then at tactical levels, you break down this long-term objective from the management into short-term objective. And at operational level, you carry out activities to implement these short-term objectives. Okay? And the BA also helps to validate the implementation to ensure that the outcome of this project align with the strategic goals. Okay. Now, how do you do all of this? How do you come up with the right goal? That's at strategic level. How do you, at tactical level, ensure that you come up with the right short-term objectives that would deliver on the goals? How do you, at operational level, okay, ensure that what you are implementing, the outcome of what you are implementing will deliver on the long-term goals? Okay. How do you ensure that? You have to start by setting objectives at each of those levels. At strategic level, at tactical level, and at operational level, you set objectives. And we say all great solutions in life begin by asking the right questions. You will do yourself a whole lot of favor if you are embarking on any initiatives and you ask yourself certain questions and you answer those questions before you can proceed. Okay, so how do you develop objectives? You must ensure, I'm sure many of you must have heard about a SMART goals and objective. Your objective must be SMART, or your goal must be SMART. It must be specific, it must be measurable, it must be achievable, it must be realistic, it must be time-bound. For example, governments might say, we want to have, for as long as I have known that we've been contending with poor power supplies in Nigeria, we've always been talking about certain megawatts of electricity. Certain megawatts, we want to have 6,000 megawatts or 6 megawatts, 10 megawatts. That is not a smart objective. At strategic level, for example, the policy maker should come up with a specific objective. In the next 5 years or 10 years, we want to ensure that the country has 24 hours electricity or 18 hours non-stop electricity or 12 hours, as the case may be. You have to be specific. Not that we want to have uninterrupted power supply. That's not specific. Or we want to ensure that everybody has power. That is not specific. You have to be specific. 24 hours electricity supply, 18 hours or 12 hours, okay? Then you also have to, your objective must be measurable. In this case, when you are specific, you are introducing some measure of measurability. For example, when I say 24 hours, I'll be able to know whether that objective is quantifiable and is measurable, okay? Then you want to also know whether it is achievable. The objective should be achievable considering the resources and constraints. I can tell you confidently today that even if government provides 24 hours electricity for some of us, or most of us, not even some, most of us, government will not achieve their objective of being able to sustain that, because we probably may not be able to pay for it. I know some estates whereby they have 24 hours electricity, but the minimum you pay in a month, even for using this electricity for 12 hours, is about between 150 and 200,000. And that is the reason why you find out that even today, the distributors of electricity move power from an area where they can afford it to the people who can afford it. So whatever objective you set in, it must be achievable. You must look at the resources you have and the constraints you have. Can I achieve this? Can I japa to UK in 1 year's time, or even in 6 months' time? Do I have the desired skill that is needed there? Do I have the proof of fund? Okay. I mean, you look at, is it achievable? Then realistic. Make sure that your objective is realistic and practical. This is where you look at the feasibility, both technical feasibility, financial feasibility, okay, or cost benefit analysis of that initiative. Yes, even though I can achieve it with 10 million naira, but is it realistic? Because am I going to get my 10 million naira plus profit back? Okay, so you must ensure your objective is realistic and practical. You must also ensure that it must be time bound. 24 hours electricity in 5 years. Not we want to have 24 hours electricity when. It must be time bound. So at each level that we're talking about, both at strategic, at tactical, at operational, your objectives must be smart. We can't go into details of how to set the smart objective on each level, but it must be smart, okay? And following questions, for example, if you are setting objectives, following question must be asked when setting objectives and in monitoring progress towards those objectives. What is your desired outcome? This is called the outcome frames, and help keeps you focused on the result you are trying to achieve. For example, the desired outcome at strategic level for electricity, let me use that as an example, is 24 hours electricity, okay, at strategic level, 24 hours electricity supply within 5 years, okay? At tactical level, it could be having certain numbers of transmission channels, okay? Certain numbers of distribution channels in various places. Okay, it could mean having certain gas turbines built in certain area. These are, gas turbines of certain how do you measure the electricity production now? Megawatts. Okay, it could mean that you have offices in certain locations that will ensure that if any problems happen, they quickly move in and resolve that problem. Okay, that is a tactical level. At tactical level, we want to have 100 transformers within Victoria Island in 2 years, all connected, all powered. Okay. Then at operational levels, how do we install those transformers? How much do we need to spend? It becomes a cost objective for you. How long will it take us to install those transformers and power them or energize them? It becomes an objective, a cost objective for you. Okay. So at every level, either strategic, tactical, or operational, you must set objectives. Notice that the statements of objective do not say how they will be achieved. No, it's not talking about how they will be achieved. It's talking about what you want to achieve within a specific time frame. Okay, that is what objective is about. Now, in setting objectives, there are 4 levels of objectives for every project. As you can see on my screen, there are 4 levels of objective, as you can see on my screen. Okay. Now, at the highest level or at the strategic level is the goal. Okay. At tactical level, we call it purpose or short-term objectives. Then at operational levels, we call it outcome. That's output or input. Now, you can see that I have 2 arrows, one going up, okay, and the other coming down. Now, the one going up speaks to implementation, when you are implementing it, while the one coming down speaks to conceptualization. Let me explain that. Now, let's look at this side, the arrow coming down. We're talking about 24 hours electricity in 5 years. That is our goal. For us to achieve that, we must have certain numbers of distribution channels or offices, transmission offices, okay? We must have staff with engineers with certain skills or capacity. That's short-term objectives, okay? We need this amount of money and we need to raise it within this period of time. Short-term objectives, okay? That's conceptualization. Then when those short-term objectives are accepted, they become implemented as an outcome. 5 transformers installed in number 33 Kofu Abayomi, Victoria Island. Transmission office situated at Aja, okay? They become, then at the lowest level are those activities, the project activities that you will do. That's that conceptualization side. At implementation side, you're talking about if I carry out all these activities, if I plan, if I build, if I weld, if I couple, and if I have all these transformers in place, and I have all these transmission office in place, if I have these numbers of qualified engineers, okay, are going to be able to produce 20, that's the purpose, is to produce the 24 hours electricity. Excuse me. That means your inputs or your activities must lead to some specific outcomes or outputs. Your outcomes must serve a purpose in achieving goals. Look at it. All the activities that you are carrying out, this is what BA does for you. All the activities that you are carrying out here, you want to ensure that they lead toward a specific output or outcome, which is going to serve some purposes in achieving your goals. Those are the 4 levels of objectives. Now, question to ask when you are setting objectives, you must ask this question: what are we trying to accomplish and why? Whether at tactical level, strategic level, or operational level, what are we trying to achieve and why? What are we trying to achieve means what are the specific outcomes? What will be the end result? You are studying for certain program now or the other. What is the outcome? Project management certification, business analysis certification, agile certifications, and why? Why do you need them? Because those are the skills that are in demand, and I need to have it to be promoted or to be able to change a job. Oh, I want to japa, okay? I want to save certain amount of money. Why? Because that is needed as a proof of fund for me to be able to japa, okay? Then how are you going to measure success? You also have to be able, for example, if you're talking about saving 10 million naira in 1 year, okay? 10 million naira in 1 year, which is 12 months, or let's say 12 million naira for ease of calculation in 1 year, 12 million naira in 1 year, so that you can japa, for those of you who want to japa. It means that you either save 1 million naira monthly, okay, or you save 3 million naira quarterly, okay? So whereby at the end of the month, you can't save up to 1 million naira. You are not likely to achieve success. Okay, fine. I can't save 1 million naira first month, but second month, I should be able to do 2 months. 2 million naira. Okay, fine. At the end of 2 months, you can't even do 2 million naira, okay? But at the end of 3 months, which is the first quarter, I should be able to do 3 million naira. So that is, you must determine how you must measure success. Now, what other condition must exist? This is a very important that a lot of us don't ask. You think once you have that project delivered, you are going to achieve your goal. There are certain things that has to be in place for you to be able to achieve that goal. You must ask and you must determine those things. I could remember some years back, I went to an office that was in Port Harcourt. It's a government office. The first time I went to this office, they didn't have computers on their table. Everything they were doing was manually with big register files and all of that. I think some 2 or 3 years after, I went back to the same office, and on every desk, I saw a desktop computer. On every table, desktop computer. But only one person who was using laptop was working in that office, was using the computer to work. And I asked them the question, how come you all have computers now and you're not working with it? They said, we don't have electricity. So what that means is that when that organization was thinking of computerizing their operation, they are only thinking of, oh, we want to computerize our operation so that our process can be faster, can be done cheaper, and we can save a lot of time and money. That's the goal. And for us to do that, certain objective, we need to have computers on everybody. We need to train them on how to use computer. We need to get software for our computers and all of that. Those are the short-term objectives, okay? But they didn't have what other condition must exist. We must have 24 hours electricity, or we must have 8 hours electricity in this way. They probably didn't look into that. Or they probably didn't even find out if the staffs themselves wanted their operation computerized, whereby they may need to cancel them of the need. Otherwise, you put computer, you even have electricity, okay? You even train them how to use it, but they were not willing to use it. What other condition must exist? Then how do we get there? How do we get there speaks to your plan. That is when you do your scope, what is to be done, when to do it, how much to do, to do it, this is the question. That is when you do your plan. You can see that planning is even the lowest level, because if you've not asked and able to answer the first 3 questions, and you go to the 4th one, how do we get there, and you start doing your project management planning, you probably might be having a good plan for a wrong output or for wrong initiatives. It is A you are supposed to do, but because you did not ask what we are trying to accomplish and why, you are doing B, and you are planning for B. Okay, so it is very important. These 4 critical strategic questions forms the art of strategic project management. Each needs to be asked and answered in exactly this order. That's what I said, that you need to first ask the number 1, what are we trying to accomplish and why? How will we measure success? What other condition must exist? And how do we get? It has to be in that order, okay? And what can help you in organizing these questions or the answer is what we call logical framework. Logical framework. It needs to be asked and answered in exactly the same order through the use of logical framework. Tackling the 4 critical strategic questions using logical framework. This is an example of a manual logical framework. We call it log frame matrix. You have the objectives. That's the first question. What are we trying to achieve and why? That's the objective. How do we measure success? Success measure. That is number 2. Okay. Then number 3 talks about where the data for measurement will come from. And the number 4 column speaks to the assumption. Speaks to what? The assumptions. Are we together? Okay. Now, I'm going to show you briefly how to use that. Okay. What are we trying to achieve and why? That's the objective. The first column. This describes the objective. And I told you the 4 levels of objectives are strategic intention, which is your goal. Then short terms objective, which is the purpose, the project impact. Then you have the project deliverables, that's specific outcomes, and then you have the key action step. So for every level that you're talking about, you need to document them here. 24 hours electricity within 5 years. Okay. For what purpose? What is the purpose? So as to reduce the level of poverty in the country, so as to reduce within specific period. And when you're talking about reducing level of poverty, you also have to be specific. Maybe reduce poverty by certain percentage, or increase the production capacity of your economy by certain percentage, or you have to, these are some of the purposes for which you want to have the 24 hours electricity. Then what are the specific outcomes? I'm talking about the transformers, the numbers of transformers, the numbers of gas turbines, okay, that you want to build, the transmission lines that you want to build. You also need to be specific. Certain numbers of transformer, certain measurement of transmission lines, okay, and so on and so forth. Then at inputs level, you're talking about the project, what to do to have those numbers of transformer, the cost, the time it's going to take, okay, those are the input level. Then you talk about success measure. How do you measure your success at goal level when you find out that the light doesn't blink for 24 hours? I mean, anytime you need light, within the 24 hours, you just press your switch and it comes up. That's how you measure success. How do you measure the purpose? For example, if purpose is to reduce the poverty level, you find that barber is able to work, mechanic is able to work because he has electricity now. Weather is able to do his job. People who are using diesel to power their generator and are spending so much money are not spending again. So you find out that the average income, or what you call in Nigeria, what do you call it now? The lowest income has increased from 30,000 to about 80,000. Okay, or a businessman that is taking home about 200, or artisan, I mean, that is taking on about 200,000 naira a month before, is now taking home about 300 or 400,000 every month. So you can see that the purpose of that goal is being achieved. Then outcomes, you can go to specific places and count the numbers of transformers that are working, the transmission line that are working and are not breaking down. Are we together? Then at input level, how do you measure success? You are delivering those projects on time, within the budget, okay? And you are meeting the quality standard. That is the success measure. Then the third column, verifications, talks about where your data is going to come from, who is going to validate your success measure. For example, the goal can be verified from either Ministry or Office of Statistics or individuals that are using the electricity. The purpose can be verified when you go to Ministry of Finance, okay, or banks, you see that the economy is booming and all of that. That's the verification. For example, at input level, the project teams are giving you cost performance index, schedule performance index, and the rest of them like that to show that they're delivering this project on time and within budget. Then the fourth column, which is very important, talks about the assumptions that you have made. And those assumptions has to be challenged. For example, you've assumed that if you provide 24 hours electricity, people are going to buy the entire 24 hours and they are going to pay whatever amount you charge. But some people may say, I can't afford 24 hours, so I'm not even buying, I'll just go and buy a small generator. So you are producing power, nobody is taking it. You are producing power, nobody, even though you are producing the 24 hours electricity, but your project is not successful because nobody is taking those power. So you look at some of the assumptions you have made at each level and you challenge those assumptions. By the time you are challenging the assumptions that go, for example, you might say, oh, I don't think Nigeria is ready for 24 hours right now. Maybe we should just do 12 hours. That is what they can pay for. Okay? That is what they will take. At the purpose level also, you look at the assumptions that you have made. If I have this number of transformer, okay, and I have this number of transmission lines, and I have these engineers, okay, I'm going to achieve those purposes. Then you find out that you might need more than those transformers. What if some people decide to, maybe someone who is selling generator, for example, might decide right now to start vandalizing some of those things. You probably have assumed that, oh, nobody will vandalize. I'll be able to bring in my transformer and all of that. So you look at some of the assumptions, because if you don't look at some of those assumptions, you might, in fact, the assumption is what we call the other thing that should be in place for your project to meet its objectives. Okay, that's about objective. Success measure, I've explained that. How will we measure success? The second column, identify the measures of success for objectives at each level. Here, you select the appropriate measures and choose either quantity, 24 hours electricity, quality of your transformer and the number of your transformer, okay? Time indicators, power is up for 24 hours to clarify what the objective means, okay? Verification, I've also explained that the third column summarizes how we will verify the status of the measure at each level. Think of the verification column as project management information and feedback system fit here, where the data is going to come from that you're actually succeeding on your project. Assumption, the fourth column, what other condition must exist? Because if you don't look at other conditions that must exist, you will finish that project and you are not able to use it. The fourth columns, for example, let me tell you, a lot of people say, I want to live in Lekki. I want to build a house in Lekki, Ikoyi, VI. Renting a house or building a house in Lekki, Ikoyi, VI might not be an issue for you if you can afford it. But do you have a sustainable income that can service those houses? Because even in Lekki, that is a bit further from the central business district, for you to service a 3-bedroom flat, you'll probably be spending as much as 200,000 naira every month, security, electricity, and all of that. 200,000 naira every month, multiplied by 12, that's about 2.4 million naira. That will rent you and service, or even start building house for you somewhere in the mainland. So you must look at the other condition that must exist. The 4th column captures assumption, those ever present but often neglected risk factor outside of the project on which project success depends. Okay. Defining and testing assumptions let you spot potential problems and deal with them in advance. So you have to identify those assumptions, test them. It helps you to avoid any problem in the future. Okay, how do we get there? This talks about the conventional project management tools, like you all know, your work breakdown structure, your Gantt charts, who does what, when, and with what resources. That's the 4th question. Input level, how do we get there? Okay, this is an example of a logical framework that has been populated. Okay, for all of you register for this, the slide is going to be sent to you so you can actually study that, okay, and apply it into your organization project and or even to your personal project. Okay, we're rounding up in 5 minutes. Strategic hypothesis: when you connect one level of objective to another with if-then thinking, you are developing what we call strategic hypothesis. Example, look at this. We are saying, if I carry out all these activities and my assumptions are valid, are true, or these things are in place, that is when I can achieve my outcome. It is not if I do these activities, I'll just have the outcome. If I carry out all these activities at this level, input level, and these are in place, or my assumptions are valid, then I'll have these outcomes. If I have all these outcomes, certain numbers of transformers in place, transmission lines, electricity distribution offices, metering, and the rest of them, if I have all of those ones in place and my assumptions regarding them are valid, nobody will vandalize them. Okay, I'll be able to import them easily. Then I'll be able to achieve the purpose of reducing the increasing of the purpose of achieving the goal rather. And even if all your short-term objectives are achieved and certain things, your assumptions are valid, the 24 hours electricity will be taken, then that is when you can achieve goal. Or gas will even be available to power your turbine. That is when you can provide 24 hours electricity. This is what we call strategic objective. Project risk, what other condition must exist? No project is a sure bet. Risk factors always exist, whether we recognize them or not, okay? They always exist. You must find out those other conditions that must exist. You must find out about the assumptions you have made, and you must ensure that those assumptions are valid. You challenge them. That is when you can achieve your goal. Assumptions are those uncertain factors which are necessary to complete the logical linkages, but which may be beyond the direct control of the project team, okay? For example, government regulations might change certain things and your outcomes becomes useless. Government laws, requirements, okay? Okay, so you need to look. While we can ignore assumptions, we cannot ignore the impact of ignoring these assumptions. If you ignore those assumptions, fine. But the impact or the consequences of those of ignoring those assumptions, you cannot ignore. They will come to the surface. So to know other conditions that must exist, we must identify the key assumption that links each pair of objectives. Every assumption deserves up-close inspection with a skeptical magnifying glass. Are we together? So you need to validate your assumption. For example, all the assumptions that you have made, are they reasonable? What are the odds that it is valid? How do we know it is valid? What are the consequences for the project if the assumptions are not valid? And how severe is the impact if the assumptions are not valid? All of this you must test. Simply stating an assumption does not make it true. We must ask the following question for each of those assumptions. Are they reasonable? Are they valid? How do we know? What is the consequences if they are not valid? How severe is the impact? Okay. Assumption analysis reveal risk in your projects and highlight potential problem. If you address them early enough, you can modify your game plan to head off trouble looming down the road. Imagine if Facebook Meta has decided to continue with the projects, even when they know they can't achieve their objectives. They probably would have lost more than the 24 billion, and it can even wind down the company. So if you address your assumption early, you can modify your game plan. Like they are focusing on artificial intelligence right now to head off looming trouble down the road. Like I said, this, what I summarized in 1.5 hours for you, is a 3 days program. Okay, but I hope that at least you have been able to take some things home from that. Okay, so let me listen to you in if you have any questions, you can signify. You'll be recognized by Pius. Pius, I hope you are still there.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here, please.
Okay, this is 7:30. Okay, so if they have any questions, let them signify or monitor the chat room. And any question, you can read it out for me, and I can address it.
Okay, not question in particular. First of all, I want to say thank you for the precise way you have addressed this topic tonight. We've learned a lot. And for everyone present, it is an opportunity for you to ask questions, all right? Like he said, this is actually supposed to be like a 3 days program, but it has been compressed into 1 hour, 30 minutes, so that at least we can have maybe just like a summary view of what it's really talking about. So this is an opportunity for you to ask questions. The floor is open. You can pop up your questions in the chat, or you can signify by raising up your hand so that we can recognize you. In the chat room, I have a message from Chisom. He says, thank you so much, sir. This was very enlightening and impactful. God bless you. I also, okay, so that's just about it from Toby. Says, very insightful, sir. All right. Please, the floor is open for questions so that we can wrap up and everyone can go have the much deserved rest for the weekend. All right. Questions, please. Questions, contributions, or you need any clarification, please signify.
There's a hand up, Chisom. Sam.
Okay. Okay, Chisom, let's take your question.
You can unmute and ask your question.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you very much as well, Mr. Pius.
Thank you, Chisom.
So I have two questions, please. So one is, how can business analysis be? Because most times business analysis is more like of course, it's a branch of technology, which is good. So it's mostly tending towards the tech area. So how can it be applied to product-based businesses? So let me say business analyst that is also an entrepreneur that sells products. Say, for instance, you sell footwear, you sell clothes, whatever, product-based businesses. How can, that are not tech-related, how can a business analyst apply to that? That's one. For a lawyer that is transitioning into business analysis, what's the best way to position yourself so as to get jobs and probably internships? So those are my two questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Chisom. Okay, how can business analysis be used for product based projects? Okay, that's a very good question, I must say. As a matter of fact, when business analysis was being developed, it was meant to be applied to software projects, okay? And it's the same thing with the product. Like I mentioned earlier, there are usually two methodologies that are involved in managing projects. You have what we call agile, which is change-driven methodology. Okay, change-driven methodology, agile, or you have what we call waterfall. Divine, please mute your mic. Or you have waterfall methodology, which is plan-driven. Agile is also called change-driven, okay, or adaptive, okay. Why the waterfall is called plan-driven or okay, let me explain how it is. Now, if you have a project, even like your own products, you may know the solutions, the problem that you want to solve, okay? But you don't know the precise solution that will solve the problem. Like you're releasing a product to the marketplace, for example, now, okay? You know the reason why you want to release that product to the marketplace. Maybe you want to increase your company revenue, profitability, or to be more accepted in the marketplace. Okay, this could be any of the reasons, but you may not know which product precisely. Okay, for such projects, you can't use a plan-driven approach. You have to use agile, which aligns with business analysis techniques, okay? Because by the time you're studying business analysis, you find out that it has to do a lot with a lot of requirements. Before you take your product into place, you have to find out all the stakeholders, collect their requirements, their expectation from the product, and even as you are developing the product, you are also still engaging these stakeholders, okay? So you can't even use, you may not even be able to use a plan-driven approach for more of a product as you will use change-driven approach, which is business analysis. Let me give you an instance. Some years back, MTN released a product into the market. They call it 44 something. You have 4 numbers that you call free, okay? The other numbers, you call them at a very low, then they even give you some benefit. This is about 10 years ago or thereabout. Fantastic products, fantastic product. Then within few months of this product being in the marketplace, it was withdrawn. I had some students there who came from MTN. So I asked them, when I'm beginning to enjoy this, your product, that's when you take it off. They said, well, they didn't envisage that a lot of people will embrace that product. So they had more people than they anticipated. And so their system was collapsing. And that is why they had to withdraw that product from the market. Today, if you are in product management or product development, you can't do without business analysis skills or agile skills. You cannot. To answer the first question. Then the second question, if you are a lawyer and you want to transit into the domain of business analysis, it's just for you to, you can first start with taking a certification in business analysis, okay? Then you might volunteer for some business analysis role as an intern, okay? Today, people do a lot of jobs remotely, okay? Even while you're still maintaining your regular 9-to-5 jobs, okay? You can look for such until you not only have the certification, you have also gained the experience, okay? And then you can launch out. And if you are even going into consulting, I can tell you in today's world, you need a business analysis skill. If you're going into consulting at all, irrespective of what you studied in your first degree, because business analysis is about helping the organization to achieve whatever their goal is, okay? And that is what consulting is all about. I hope I'm able to answer your question.
Yes, God bless you, sir.
Thank
God
you
bless
very
you, sir.
much.
Yeah. Sorry, sir, just to clarify, you said for the product management, so meaning that even entrepreneurs, so I'm not saying like employees now, so even entrepreneurs that run product companies, let me say someone that runs you said electronics or whatever, if you have a skill in BA, it can help you run your company better, is what you're saying.
Better. Let me give you an example. About 2015, 2015, yes. When we look at our financials, we discover that a number of people were not coming for training that particular year because the economy was very bad then. They were not coming for classroom and all of that. So at home, during the Christmas holiday, I did a research and I discovered that, oh, online platform will help a great deal, because with online platform, you can train people cheaper and there is no restrictions, no physical or geographical restriction on them. They can learn from wherever they are. And the study that I read shows that you can make as much as 30 million naira from online platform per annum. So 2016, as we were coming back to work, we launched our e-learning platform, which is which we call Dexnova. Dexnova contains about 150 soft skill courses and some professional courses. But till 2000, from 2016 to 2020, I'm not even sure we're making up to 1 million naira a month on it. Then the business analysis in me, okay, now start waking up to ensure that I maximize this particular program. That was when we now developed a variant of it. We call it Aquila Business School, which is an online school. We partner with, for that online school to also be accepted by majority of people in Nigeria especially, we have to partner with a foreign professional body, Chartered Institute of Management and Leadership, that after you've done the program, they award the certificate. I can tell you that the subsequent years, this Aquila Business School makes more money than Dexnova, okay? Then we also start to develop this e-learning for some other organizations, like we develop for about 3 universities right now. Now, without a business analysis skill, I will not be able to know that I'm not just putting out that e-learning platform in place for people to learn. I have a goal to be able to have certain amount of revenue per annum, okay? Now, when I'm not meeting that revenue, this would have been a failure for me, okay? So I had to look at what other things that should be in place for that e-learning platform to achieve the goal, and is gradually achieving it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. God bless you.
All right. Thank you very much, Chisom. Thank you, Mr. Adewale Oriade, for that concise and precise explanation. I'm also sure other participants learned from it. Now, I've also seen some messages in the chat box. Just so you know, you may have seen multiple names like Toby and Divine Christian. They are not the same person. They are different persons who use probably the link, the registration link for Divine Christian and Toby to actually access the webinar. So they are different people. So when you send a message in, because you didn't rename yourself on the platform, it will appear that it is the same person that is sending the same message. I'm reading from someone here. He says, please, can we get the recording of this meeting? Okay. I think you should. We will look at the possibility of creating a link for the recorded version and see how we can send it across. Okay. Then another person is asking, he said, please, I want to ask, is he saying or recommending that business analyst is better than project management? Mr. Adewale Oriade, I don't know if you can respond to that, sir.
Yeah, like I said, it's not like it's better. It's not like one is better than the other. It depends on your career goal. It depends on your career goal. But if you don't have what I called engineering background, really, you should look towards more of business analysis than, especially if you intend to work in Nigeria. But if you go abroad, project goes beyond engineering project. It goes beyond that. Okay. Organizational restructuring is a project, and if you are PMP certified, whether you are HR person or not, you can. I'm not an engineer. I've managed construction project before successfully. I've managed IT projects before successfully. Okay, above that's for those who understand the fact that being a project management professional gives you the skill to be able to manage any project, irrespective of the subject matter area. But then there are not so many in Nigeria. I had a classmate who graduated the same year with me from the university. She read law, and we also did MBA together. Immediately we finished our MBA, she moved to US and she passed. She wrote and passed PMP. She never for one day worked as a lawyer. In fact, she was a project manager on several IT projects and several product development projects and all of that for the last 20 years or thereabout. But this is for the country that knows that the project management skill, the business analysis skill is relevant, irrespective of where you have your first degree or the subject matter area of the project. So I'm not going to tell you that business analysis is better than PMP or vice versa. No, but I'm going to tell you that it depends on your outlook. What is your goal? What is your strategic objective in terms of your career? And if you can have the two of them, why not? Why not? Okay, you'll be better off for it. Okay, thank you. Pius, are you there? Hello, Pius. Okay. You are muted, please. Okay. I think if
Okay.
any questions?
Okay, I'm back. Okay. All right. Okay, so thank you very much for that explanation, sir. At this point, I don't know if we still have more questions. I can't see questions in the chat box anymore. and no one has signified by raising up his or her hand to actually ask questions. All right. So at this point, I want to thank every one of us who turned up for this webinar. Um, like the facilitator mentioned earlier, we're actually expecting more than this number, given the registration we received. But at some point, I understand that there were some technical issues with the link that was sent out. I think the link got broken along the line, and technical person tried to fix that. And I'm also sure it affected the rate of attendance that we have tonight. But be that as it may, I must say that tonight's learning session was hugely a success, and thanks to every one of you who came on the call. Like I said, this is an expose. Is a series. We've had some series before this one, and we are going to be having more after now. So please look out for the space where you actually got the link to register for this webinar. We'll be sending an update soon on other webinars that will come up, especially as it relates to career development, in project management, business analysis, and some other subject matters that are very germane to today's business world. So thank you once again. I understand that today is Friday, and some of you may have wanted to quickly get home and relax and get ready for the weekend, but you still took our time to attend today's session. So I want to say thank you so much. And also for the facilitator, we want to appreciate you, sir. We know you are a very busy person, and for you to, this is a topic that is very dear to your heart, and you told me that you wanted to actually handle it yourself and ensure that those who attend get full value for their time. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
So for the sake of those who joined us later in the webinar, I want to mention again that this HRO Expose series and the title of today's and this webinar was brought to you by Dexnova Consulting Limited. The Dexnova Consulting Limited is a people's management organization. We provide services as it relates to recruitment, outsourcing, and most importantly, learning and development. We are one of the topmost education provider when it comes to project management and business analysis and some other related programs like data analysis and the like. So if you are looking forward to charting a career in project management or business analysis, you have plans to travel, you can't look any further than coming to us. We have some upcoming programs, boot camp, and classes that have been scheduled at a discounted fee that you can quickly take advantage of. For those who might also be interested in getting certified or writing the PMP certification exam, there is also a discount exam fee for the Africa market by Project Management Institute, which people are actually taking advantage of as we speak. So you might also want to explore that opportunity. So we want to thank you once again. If you have any question, any inquiries that you can that you want to get, you can talk to us, you can talk to me. My colleague is also on the platform, Divine Christian. You can also talk to her. We'll be sending you the slide and
the video.
And the video, the recording version, the recording, and also provide you some information as to our upcoming classes and how you can get in touch with us. So on that note, I want to say thank you once again. Thank you everyone for coming around. We appreciate your presence. I want to wish you a happy Workers' Day celebration in advance, which actually hold on Monday. So you have a long holiday, a long weekend to actually reflect on what you learned today and also probably take a decision on your next career move. Thank you very much. At this point, we'll end it here so that we can all, go to various, plan for the weekend. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening and weekend. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ikeji.
Thank you
I
so
saw
much.
Chisom. Thank you. I saw
Thank you so
Joseph.
much.
I saw Divine Easy. Folake Awoniyi, Moses Akinteye, or Keshi Joseph. Thank you so much, everyone. Deborah Bomanga, thank you so much. We appreciate
Thank
you. We
you.
thank you
Thank you
for
so much
your
for your
time
time.
and your presence. All right. Thank you, every other person whose name. Okay, there is Awodele Oluwasegun. All right. Thank you so much for coming on board tonight. All right. We look forward to hearing from you on your next career move. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.